As the headline says, why do we love sugar? Well, because it's addictive, and because it stimulates the same brain or the same parts of the brain that many narcotic substances do. Okay, case closed. Anyways, no, why do we love sugar? Did you know that children do not develop a taste for salt until 4 months of age, but our taste for sweets happens the minute we are born? Yeah, it's almost like they are genetically engineered to exploit that as well. Turns out that sugar is a type of temporary analgesic. A 2005 study showed that children can keep their hands in cold water for longer if they have a sweet in their mouth. What? That's weird. Sugar is so seductive that scientists have recently revealed through brain scans that when we eat sugar, our brains light up similar to the way that we ingest strong drugs such as cocaine. Many mind-altering substances, including Oxycontin, ecstasy, heroin, alcohol, and marijuana, overactivate the dopamine reward system. Dopamine is a major reward hormone, tells us things like, great job, do it again, you're successful, you're awesome. It's released when we do things we enjoy, such as getting together with friends, winning an award, being successful at work, and so on. It's also released when we consume sugar. Uh-oh. What makes matters worse, dopamine receptors may become insensitive to the presence of dopamine when triggered continuously. So you need more in order to elicit that same response that you become addicted to. You will receive some sort of dopamine response every time you eat a sweet treat. But when you need to increase the amount of sugar you eat to feel the same rush over time, sugar elicits the greatest dopamine response of any food on the planet, which is fascinating when compared to the response of other notably pleasurable foods that do not stand a chance at holding our attention. I wish a broccoli would generate the same reward response, then I wouldn't have to eat so much. No, I actually like broccoli. Broccoli's great. Let's revisit the bite of chocolate lava cake. Ugh, I hate... Listen, okay, this is just maybe a little bit of an insight in me. I don't like anything that's gooey, or like the jelly donut. It's like, I don't really do donuts or anything like that. I just, anything that has like a cream filling as well. It's just gross, but I don't know. Maybe that's more of just like an insight into my childhood, but gross. It's so joyful that your reward center is screaming, yes, that's a great idea, do it again. We often enjoy treats like this when we're doing other joyful things. For example, it's our birthday, so yeah, you have birthday cake. Pleasurable substances like alcohol or cocaine, or well, I guess, yeah, that too, or caffeine give us a huge dopamine rush. There's an old saying in neuroscience, the neurons that fire together wire together. This means that you're more often to run a neural circuit in your brain. The stronger the circuit relationship becomes if you continue to chase dopamine with sugar and combine that behavior with other pleasures. This stacking of multiple rewards that feels good in the moment may create long-term health effects. That's why healthy habits when it comes to food, rewarding somebody's good behavior with food is a horrible decision, because everybody gets trained, okay? When I'm referring to training somebody, rewarding good behavior, it's not like a dog or anything like that, okay? Just get out of your feelings for a second. It's like when you go out for a celebration and that celebration is centered around food, that creates the association, okay? You have a birthday party, you go out for pizza or something like that. You're creating an unhealthy association, whether you know it or not. So we all know that excess sugar and said dangerous behaviors can eventually, if gone unchecked long enough, can result in detrimental health conditions, and most notably among that, when you're discussing sugar, is diabetes. So how does this happen exactly? Modern man is plagued with many diseases that you will not find in some primitive populations like modern hunter-gatherers. These include obesity, heart disease, some cancers, but last but not least, type 2 diabetes, which has reached an epidemic proportions in the past few decades and now afflicts about 300 million people worldwide. Wow! And this is from an article in 2015. I'm just going to survey the audience for a moment. Do you think that has gone up or down? I'm going to take a wild guess on that one and say that stocks are booming. This disease is a common cause of early death, blindness, amputation, and severely decreased quality of life. It is advancing rapidly every single year. Excess sugar. Dr. Lustig recently took part in a study that examined the association between sugar consumption and diabetes in 175 countries. They found very clear associations where each 150 calorie per day of sugar increased the prevalency of diabetes by 1.1%. Terrific. This put the numbers in perspective. If all of the United States added 1 can of soda to their daily diet, almost 3.5 million more people would become diabetic. Great. In the study, added sugar was only part of the diet that correlated with diabetes and when it was adjusted for confounding factors. Interesting. So fructose messing up your liver. I talk about this all the time. I'm so glad we're going to talk about it right now. Glucose can be metabolized by every cell in your body, and if we don't get it from the diet, our bodies make it. Exactly. Doesn't matter if your body's breaking down fat, carbohydrates, or even protein in the rare occasions that it needs to pull from protein. If your body's creating energy in order for it to be used, it is creating glucose. There you go. However, fructose is different. The only organ that can metabolize sugar is the liver, because the liver has a transporter for it. Athletes or highly active individuals can eat quite a bit of fructose without this problem because their livers will turn the fructose into glycogen, a storage form of glucose in the liver. However, when someone's liver is already full of glycogen, which is true for most people, the fructose will be turned into fat. Some of the fat gets shipped out via blood triglycerides, when part of it remains in the liver, contributing to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. At the same time, your liver becomes insulin resistant. This causes elevated insulin all over your body, which can lead to obesity, metabolic syndrome, and many other diseases. Eventually, the pancreas will become unable to secrete sufficient insulin to drive blood glucose into cells. At this point, blood sugar levels elevate significantly, and that's when a diagnosis of diabetes is made. Fructose is harmful in the context of excess calories. If we eat small amounts of it or eat already in a calorie deficit, fructose will not cause harm. Yes, exactly. If your body is processing and trying to create glucose through your liver, and then you have an excess of fructose waiting, it'll immediately get stored instead of being processed by the liver. But if you're running a deficit, or if there's insufficient amount of glucose to be created in the liver, your body will be able to process the fructose. Okay. Fruits are a real food with a low energy density, lots of water, significant chewing resistance. Yeah, it has ample amounts of fiber as well. It is almost impossible to overeat fructose while eating whole fruit. Some people are trying though. But if you're eating like a balanced diet, okay, yeah, it's going to be very impossible to do that. But you've also heard of this thing called high fructose corn syrup in a lot of soft drinks as well. And that is fructose. And that is exactly what goes into your body. And then that creates the insulin resistance overall. Glad we got to finally break that down into a video. Wasn't that nice? So, fructose, bad for your body. But if you're getting it through natural fruit sources using moderation, is not that much of a problem. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.